Well, well, well. Isn't it the rat that clicked on the Shadow Fiend video? Honestly, Shadow Fiend is one of my least favorite heroes in Dota 2 because the hero is absolutely disgusting in the laning stage. Frankly, there's not a single hero I like laning against less than Shadow Fiend, except maybe OD. That hero is just stupid, even though it's not even that good right now. Today we're going to be talking about Shadow Fiend. There's this fruit fly in my face. Today we're going to be talking about Shadow Fiend and why this hero is quickly coming back into the meta. If you've been following the pro scene, the hero is being picked relatively frequently. And honestly, the main reason that it comes down to is the fact that the mid lane is a lot about lane dominance. If you win the lane with flag bearers and no small camps, you will dominate the game. It's pretty straightforward. Shadow Fiend is extremely good at that, and let's get into it. Alright, so we're going to be watching TOPSON here today on his Shadow Fiend. Do keep in mind that he started this game with an assist, so his gold is a little bit off, but his starting items are pretty standard. 2 mangoes are very important. You're going to be spamming the heck out of Shadow Rays. It's very important to note. Oh, wait. So in terms of his starting items, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. However, the only difference between a lot of mid laners and SF is he has to buy mangoes. And yes, you absolutely want to buy mangoes. It's completely worth it. And you'll actually see TOPSON is going to get a kill in the first minute to 2 minutes of this game, partially as a result of the mangoes. And honestly, this video, this game from TOPSON, is going to show you guys how to make those outplays that you see pro players sometimes do, where they'll get ganked and turn around the gank into a double kill, or at least a return kill. And let's get into it. So, starting off with the 2 mangoes, a lot of branches, tangos, fairy fire, completely all-inning on this build. Now, he's starting off with an HP advantage, definitely kind of skews the lane, but I do want you guys to keep in mind, if you happen to have this even small advantage, it makes a world's difference, right? Because what he's going to do here is lead with the medium raise. You can lead with the long raise. Typically what will happen in a lot of lanes is the creeps will split, right? The melee creeps will go on the range and range. And optimally when that happens, you use your long raise to secure the range creep and hit the enemy with a shadow raise. And if you can do that before they kill your range creep, you can actually dominate the lane by hitting them with then a medium and close range raise when they go for your range creep. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't have an example of it here, but I just wanted to explain it anyway. So he starts with the medium raise, and that's going to build up a stack. Just for some perspective, the stacks last for 8 seconds, slightly longer than the cooldown. So you can't medium raise into medium raise. You have to medium raise into long raise if you want to keep it going. With about 4 to 5 seconds on his medium raise, he's going to go for the long raise, and that's going to keep the stack going, as well as apply this stupid movement speed slow that they added into the game. Basically how it works is if you get a second stack of shadow raise, you get slowed by 15%. That is extremely noticeable, right? Because Wind Ranger is now 246 movement speed. Old SF wouldn't be able to chase down the wind. It's very straightforward. Old SF wouldn't chase wind here. He would just secure the deny and move on with his life. Now, new SF, because Wind Ranger has no movement speed, can walk melee range and close raise. He can literally close raise. And as a result, he's able to close the gap, go for an auto, kind of bait the Wind Ranger in. She's afraid of the long raise. And as a result, she stays a little bit too long, forgetting that it was on cooldown. And he secures a solo kill 43 seconds into the lane. And yes, a mango was needed to make that happen, which is why you need the mangoes. Because often this situation will come up if you're good at Shadow Fiend. And this is why the hero is so stupid. This change to Shadow Raise, making it a movement speed slow. I mean, the hero already dominated lane. Just for perspective, SF already dominated lane. It's not like this hero is like some new lane dominator. It already crushed the lane. Now it crushes it even harder because of this movement speed slow. It's so easy to land raises and chase people down with autos. So if you win the lane, you just win it even harder. But alright, let's move on to the next station of the lane. So from there, I don't really recommend raising. I think TOPSON does a really good job here of conserving his mana until he has his bottle. Basically what I mean is he's about to hit level 3 and he's about to get his bottle. And so it's much better for him to wait for level 3 and wait for his bottle before continuing to go for raises, right? Because what a lot of people would do is they just kind of keep spamming it and spamming it. And then when they hit their actual spike, which is right now, they wouldn't have the mana to harass the Wind Ranger. And you can see he's looking to get really aggressive here. Main reason being that the water runes are coming up, so he can bully her off the creep wave, get a water rune for himself, and continue to snowball the lane. He'll get the water rune now, picks that up. Often people will buy stick here, but I think he's dominating the lane so hard that he just buys boots, because he's like, I'm destroying this guy so hard that I can just buy boots. And yeah, really a big thing about solo killing people as SF is you want to stagger the raises. What bad Shadow Fiend players will do is they'll just spam raise. They'll just raise if they can. You don't want to do this because you're not elongating the amount of time you have a stack duration. If you don't understand what I'm saying, because I just realized some of you guys might have no clue what I'm saying, the more raises you hit, the more damage they do for 8 seconds, and then it resets the timer if you hit another one. So he could have probably long raised right here, right? He probably could have immediately done it. He definitely could have immediately done it, no question. But instead he waits, then hits it now, and then proceeds to go back to CSing and denying. And this is what you have to be able to do to be really good at it. You have to be able to stagger. Okay, no, he didn't get that last stack there. He was trying to sneak it in, but he didn't get it. Either way, you can see just this constant state of keeping these stacks going, considered going for it there, and then going back to CSing and denying. And once you get to this state in the lane, it's GG. It's GG. It's completely GG. As long as you don't overforce like an idiot and dive the tower, you're fine. Because the reality is, even here, he's going to get ganked, but he's already 600 net worth up in 3 minutes. I mean, that's like, it's gross. And so he's going to get ganked here, but it just doesn't matter. On top of that, when you get ganked, don't panic. Raise. Don't panic, raise, because it slows now. So if you're getting chased down and you just try to run away, you're probably not going to run away. Your hero's 305 movement speed is not terrible, but you're probably not going to run away. So he goes for the close range raise here. As a result, he's able to get to, partially as a result, he's able to get to his high ground. And then instead of panicking, he goes for a medium raise. Does a really nice turn. And you can turn while raising. So you can click the raise button mid-turn. You don't have to turn and raise. You can turn and click raise at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense. I'll quickly show it again just because I don't think most people know what I'm talking about. But like you'll see here, he doesn't like turn and then raise. He clicks turn and then raises at like the same time. You see what I mean? So that's something you can do as well. He actually misclicks and walks forward there, which was definitely a mistake. But because of the movement speed slow, they can't chase him. Wind is at 203 movement speed. Hoodwink's at 217. Wind Ranger dies to the tower. Hoodwink barely lives, and it's an absolute disaster in the mid lane. Absolute disaster. This is when, you know it's GG. As the Viper is pausing on his Wind Ranger. Oh no, he was disconnecting. Okay, he was disconnecting. That would have been so sad. All right, let's move on more towards the mid game. I think you've gotten down the gist of the lane. From here on out, once you have a 40 damage advantage on your opponent, keep the creep wave on your high ground. Deny creeps, static it, just static it on your high ground, keep the raises going, right? Keep getting runes. Don't be afraid to ship out a mango if you need to use it to keep dominating the lane. Don't be afraid to ship out rain chops. We'll see him do that, and let's move on. And for some perspective, his next two items after the bottle were Windlace and Raindrops. After that was Treads. But the Windlace and Raindrops help you to keep dominating the lane. Movement Speed and Raindrops are just like the best items you can buy early on. Wand being kind of the next best item you can buy to skirmish. And a lot of people just play SF in a really stupid way where they double down on like some big item. They're rushing Yasha when they don't even have a magic wand. And even if you dominate your lane on SF, the biggest downfall of the hero is you die like a bot. So if you don't buy Wand, Raindrops, and Windlace, if you don't buy these items, you're going to die so easily. You could be 3 levels ahead of a Storm Spirit and still die to him if you don't buy these items. So please, take my word for it and buy these items every game without exception. Just buy them. So next up, TOPSON's going to go to pushing the mid lane. At this point, you don't really want to try to shut down the mid laner. They have too many levels where they can secure creeps with their nukes. So optimally, you just start raising. Kind of messed up his raise there. Typically, what you want to do is long raise into medium raise because that's going to keep you far away. Is he going to siege mid here? No, he's actually... Okay, he's going to gank bottom. No, he's taking away their camp. Okay, really weird play from TOPSON. Actually taking farm away from the enemy mid. As he has a regen root. So he's actually ganking. Very uncommon to see ganks. I will say I've been ganked by SF a few times, so I've played against it a lot in my pubs. And I'm always shocked. I'm like, why is there an SF ganking me? But then I die to him. And you remember, oh yeah, it's the same as the laning stage. He slows you with raise. So it's like this hero that literally you would just walk away from it every time. If he ganked you, you just walk away. Because he doesn't have a stun or a slow. Oh wait, he has a slow. So... yeah, you just die. But typically, long raise, medium raise, because you don't want to walk up. Bad players will like medium raise and a short raise. That's how you die. Do it this way. Really optimally, if you're trying to play at the highest level, do it this way. Don't be a bot and do it the other way. Stay far away and go back to your jungle. Honestly, 9 times out of 10, unless you get a power rune, which he gets a haste, you're going to stay in your jungle. Like, that's the most common play. With the haste here, he might look to gank. Like, for instance, if the enemy defended bottom here into 3 heroes, 100% he's responding. 100% he's responding. However, in this case, they don't respond to the bottom push, so instead of wasting his time and helping with a push that's already done, he just stays mid and continues to farm. So really nice decision from TOPSON. But you can see an extension from Forev here on the Tusk. Immediately has a haste rune, extremely willing to gank. It's going to be a very easy kill onto the Tusk, because typically you wouldn't be able to chase him down. With the haste rune, it's no problem. Really good jukes from the Tusk, though. Really buying a lot of time here. That's super well. Is he going to die? Oh, the Tusk played that really well. Tusk baited that extremely well. So, classic SF issue, though. No matter how far ahead you are, you still can die. To be fair, this Sven is also huge. But typically, mid laners, if they have this much of a net worth advantage, just kind of are basically invincible. Like Ember, if you were an Ember in this position, the game is GG. But the thing is, Ember's never going to dominate the lane like this. At least probably not going to dominate the lane like this. And so, yeah, that's the trade-off. It's a very clear trade-off. However, this Wind Ranger is so poor that it just doesn't matter. She's so useless that it doesn't matter. And you dominate a lot of heroes in the game. On top of that, a big reason, I just want you guys to understand this if you're watching competitive Dota, to give you a bit of perspective or understanding of the pro scene right now. The mid lane is about dominating mid. I already said that. But on top of that, a lot of mid dominators are showing up in the meta. Makes sense, right? As a result, how do you respond to mid dominators? You have to pick a hero that dominates even harder. Or you can pick a kill combo. Like, for instance, if they pick Lina, maybe you can pick, like, Kunkka. Even though Kunkka kind of is a lane dominator, you know what I mean? At least, like, if you have a Mirana 4 and there's a Lina mid against Kunkka, you can X in the arrow. So, like, there's other responses, but a big response to Lina and Quap right now is Shadow Fiend. So if you see Shadow Fiend, it's either because the team doesn't want to get counterpicked mid, and so they're picking SF because it doesn't have a single losing matchup mid. Like, there's not a single hero that comes to mind that beats SF. I mean, can you beat SF? Yeah, you could beat SF, but, like, if the SF player is playing at his peak, he's not going to lose the lane. And so it's being picked on first pick to protect from counter picks, because teams don't want to get counterpicked mid. If you get counterpicked mid, Dota gets stupid hard in this patch, because you can't catch up. There's no small camp to stack. It's so hard to catch up. It's even hard to get neutral items so as a mid, which was a way to recover. So just keep that in mind. It's a response to the meta picks, and it's really good as he gets a lot of stacks here. Rushing the Manta, not a very common build. The most common build on SF is either Shadowblade Rush, so you can gank with your ulti, the side lanes, or it's Dragonlance, so you're tanky. So you're tanky and... So you're tanky and just hit from further away, because it's very important to stay in position as SF. Oh, you really messed up there. Wow, that was really bad. That's crazy to see TOPSON mechanically mess up like that. Look at this beautiful play from TOPSON coming up here in the mid game. I think part of the reason he rushed Manta this game is it definitely has a lot of use cases. It dispels the Viper Q, you can dodge Shackle Shot, you can dodge Sven Stun. I thought you couldn't, but apparently you can. I think you can dodge Bushwhack too. So most of the disables are not instant disables, they are projectile disables. And Manta is particularly good against projectile disables. You are relying on being able to Manta dodge to make this work, but it could be possible. You can't really Manta dodge Blink Walrus Punch, not reliably at least, but because of the survivability of this hero and the Magic Wand, which, by the way, if he didn't pop Magic Wand before clicking ulti, he would have died. The mechanical prowess of TOPSON is insane, as he pops his ultimate, he also bottles up, which is such a beautiful play mechanically, as he continues to bottle in between it and gets the kill onto the Tusk. The Hoodwink chases, doesn't panic, goes for the raises, cleans her up as well. The Mantas actually finish her off, and they get a double kill. Just insane play from TOPSON to turn that one around. And now he's going to go for the Dragonlance. So even though he isn't rushing it, it's still just kind of a required item on SF, because the reality is if you don't buy Dragonlance and you try to auto-attack someone, you're going to put yourself so far out of position that you're probably just going to die. So it's a required item on this hero, in my opinion. And in the opinion of like every single player who plays SF in a physical variant. Now keep in mind, for most of the game you're going to be jungling. Like, the reality of the heroes, you don't set up ganks very well. Like, obviously you can kill someone if you have a tiny support. You could smoke with him, and if he staggers the avalanche combo well, you could kill someone just with right clicks. But in general, it's very risky to do that. Very, very risky to do that. But we'll see a teamfight breakout. This one looks kind of like a wash. Either way, let's talk about his execution and decision making here. So, sees the Viper, ignores him, right? Oh, he's got the Grove Bow. That's so key. Grove Bow on SF is so important, because the attack range, as I said, it keeps you in position. Either way, fight breaks out. Opts for the ulti here. Is the Sven going to BKB? Sven will probably BKB, right? Yeah, good BKB from the Sven. It was a really nice attempt to protect his teammates, right? The ulti there from the SF could have potentially saved his teammates from the initiation. And that's a great way to use SF ulti. You don't use it to explode people. You don't try to one-shot people. You use it in order to slow their movement speed and fear them away. It's not really a right-click, it's not really an explosion spell. So it's really nice onto the Tusk there as he just gets annihilated. Oh my gosh, where did that Sven go? Sven just disappeared. And from here, the DD on SF is just, it's GG. The Sven has very little armor if the Warcraft... What a combo, oh my gosh. The enemy team almost turned that around. That was nasty. Whew, if this game was closer, they would have got a team wiped for sure. Is he really chasing this guy? Alright, well, I guess that's double damage SF as he 4-shots the Viper. Is that a support Viper? Okay, it is. Alright, at least it's a support Viper, I think. So next up, he's going to go for Blink Dagger. I beg of you guys, don't go for Blink. Buy a BKB. Just buy a BKB. The reason why he's buying Blink is the same reason he rushed Manta. You can dodge most of the enemy team's disables. But if you're bad, which, like, let's be real, you probably shouldn't go this build, you know what I mean? You probably shouldn't go this build. But even here, against the Sven, he knows that he can toy with the Sven, because if Sven tries to go on him, he can just react and dodge the disable, right? Even here, I was a little bit surprised. That was really slow on TOPSON. He knew the Sven was lingering in the area. I'm surprised he reacted. Because even here, right, if TOPSON can't react properly, you're probably not going to, but he cleans up that guy, just insta-kills him. Right, really, really nice. How does he keep having a haste rune? He gets got on. And you see, messes up the Manta. Good attempt on the spear. Thank gosh he has a haste rune. He's dead there with no haste. He's probably dead anyway. Goes for the fear. Oh my gosh, he hits the fear. Oh, that was so close. Right, so you can see the downside of this build is the downside of SF. Just buy a BKB. Just buy a BKB so you can man up. The only reason I think it's reasonable for him not to rush BKB this game is, once again, because he can dodge the disables and the enemy team has such high physical damage that there's a chance he straight up dies in BKB. But typically you can just man up if you're further enough ahead on net worth, right? Like, even if this Wind Ranger is so far ahead, I mean, even though the Wind Ranger theoretically counters SF to some extent, if she doesn't have BKB or she's getting a late BKB, you can just BKB ult and kill her, right? And so, yeah, I don't recommend this build. So in your downtime in the mid to late game, you just want to be cleaning up the map constantly. Like, your hero farms so stupidly fast that try not to get distracted. Even when you hit your timing, you want to go for your next timing. You know what I mean? Like, you just wipe through camps, especially if you happen to go for some sort of mobility build like this or Manta. Your hero can even split push creep waves with the Manta style. And so it's just like a... Even if you don't have these items, you go crazy, but especially if you decide to copy this build or go something along the lines, you want to be getting out to the side lanes. Like here, he's going to smoke, so group up with his team. But previous to this, he cleared out the bot side jungle and his ancients. And that's a very natural farming rotation. Okay, he gets jumped here. Oh, he's just dead. Yeah, I mean, good jump from the enemy, but he also doesn't have BKB, which, you know. So the next item TOPSON buys is Arcane Blink. You can see he really went off the rails with this build. I just thought the game was really good as an example for YouTube because of the laning stage and the mid game. His items don't really matter too much. You know, can you even go this build? Yeah, I mean, it's really cool that he goes this mixed variance build. And I actually like the Arcane Blink. I don't mind the concept of going a right-click SF. Like, I think the Arcane Blink 4th item here is a bit weird, but I don't mind the concept from him of, let's say, going Silver Edge, Pike, then Arcane Blink. Because being able to Arcane Blink ulti people is very valuable. It's just straight up good, right? It's just straight up good. And you'll see, even though this Wind Ranger probably has BKB, she just doesn't react. Because it's not what you're expecting, right? You just don't expect it. And so it's a great way to pick people off and get solo kills. Even in team fights, right? Let's say Mars hits a spear. It's a very straightforward play from TOPSON. Arcane Blink ulti. And because it comes out so quickly, you'll be able to just solo kill the hero considering they get feared after and you right click very hard. So I think in the late game, it's probably better to buy Arcane Blink rather than Swift Blink or Overwhelming Blink, even on a right click variant of SF. So I love this. I actually like this concept a lot from TOPSON. Do I like the 4th Arcane Blink? I think it's a bit weird, but I do understand it and I don't think it's bad. On top of that, at level 25, I didn't even know this until making the video as I was doing some research, but at level 25, Shadow Rays applies attack damage, which means with Arcane Blink, if you have, right, a Daedalus or you have these items, you're going to be hitting really hard with 3 raises. If you Arcane ulti, it's going to fear them away, and when it fears them away, you short raise, medium raise, long raise, and it uses your attack damage, which is going to make these raises do like 1,300, 1,400 damage total, probably more, probably 15, 16, 1,700. And that's really notable, so I can really see this Arcane Blink being extremely good here as we actually see him clean up the Sven with the raises. I actually want to see how much it really does, or how much it seems to do. Okay, Sven has the BKB here, so he's just gonna have to right click. Oh boy, Sven's dying. Okay, even here, let's see, he'll probably go for the, oh, his blink got canceled. He'll be able to chase here. Yeah, look at that, that's crazy. Does it crit, or did he auto-attack in between that? The thing is, you can even auto-attack, because your auto-attack animation is so fast and you have such high attack speed, you can even auto-attack in between raises. Does he do that? Or does the raise crit? Oh, does the raise... Oh, the raise crits and fears because of the shard. Unless he auto-attacked and I couldn't see it, which I'm pretty sure wasn't the case. That's pretty nasty. The raise fears, because if you don't know what the shard does, it makes, on a 3-second cooldown, it makes one of your auto attacks, or I guess a raise at level 25, crit for 190% and fear for 0.2 seconds. I'm sorry, for 0.5 seconds. It's a good shard. It's just a solid shard. It's not broken by any means, but it's good. And yeah, that's going to be about the end of the game. He does queue up the BKB, which I respect. If you are going to blink and ulti someone in a team fight and you don't have BKB, you're probably going to die. Wow, okay. I'm sold on the Arcane Blink. I'm sold. Look at this. That's crazy. Very limited time to react. She clicks Wind Run, which was a horrible response from Wind. She definitely should have BKB. It's a pretty low skill on this guy's part. Either way, just... Yeah, the race is crit, no doubt. That's a solo kill. You just burst people from full. And you can't even say that this guy's like that squishy. He has 1,800 HP, and it's not like he still had quite a bit of time in the fear duration left. But alright, that's going to be the end of today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'm definitely going to be trying this hero in pubs. I'm so bad at Shadow Fiend, I'm not going to lie. If you do try this hero, understand it requires discipline to farm. It requires an understanding of the laning stage. But if you want to give a really hard hero a try, a hero that can dominate people in lane, like if you get decent at laning against like 2Ks, 3Ks, 1Ks, 4Ks on SF, if you get decent, no one can lane against you. No one can lane against you. At that point, it's just about understanding your timings and not over-forcing fights, because you will die no matter how far ahead you are on SF. But alright, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace!